Hi guys, happy Thursday. I hope you're all doing well. It's Thursday, the 5th of March, 2026. So welcome to this midweek market review with me, Wall Street Puppy. So let's see what it is you're looking out for, giving you updates on the various pairs that we've been looking out for. This week has been very fundamental because of the ongoing war between US, Israel, and Iran. So as per Monday, because I remember on Monday I shared a video discussing, I shared two videos actually. One discussing the war between US, Israel, and Iran and its effect on markets like gold and oil. And this is that video right here. So feel free to go and check it out on YouTube. And also, we had now the technical video, which is now the weekly market intelligence that I had shared on Monday. So looking now at the various all pairs that I usually do, all pairs that I usually do trade. So feel free to go check it out. Feel free to go check it out right over there. Right. Feel free to go check it out. So also right here on the blog, I shared these as well at chasecapitalke.blogspot.com. So feel free to go check it out on the blog as well, right there. So let's see what it is we have been looking out for this week. We have quite a lot of pairs on my watch list. So let's see what we are or what we've been looking out for this week. So starting off with Euro USD. So this is what you have on Euro USD. So we had price breaking this area here on Monday. We had price breaking below this demand. We had price breaking below this demand. Okay. Confirming the bearish sentiment that we had. Remember, our first range was from we had these areas here. This was the previous supply. Price broke above this, rallied all the way to these highs of 1.2400. Then price came back to these. The previously broken supply now becomes demand. We had a rally to the mid range. Then price dropped all the way back to this demand. A push to the upside, consolidation. Then eventually we've seen a break below. So we had a single candle retest, then a continuation of the drop lower. Then now another break below and price forming lower lows. Then a very strong retracement with price coming back to retest the broken demand as a new supply before potential continuation of the drop lower. So this is a drop-based drop scenario, and we are looking at a potential continuation of the drop lower and prices coming to these areas of 1.15, 100 areas based off this demand. For now, the major range to be filled, and the major range is price coming all the way back to price coming back all the way to these areas of 44, no, 1.15, 100 areas based off now this next demand right here. Okay, so we had the range from this demand getting filled all the way to these highs and then back to this demand. We had that range getting filled. So now we are looking at the major range, which is now all the way down to these areas of 1.15, 100 areas. So that is the range that you are working with. Okay, so expect a potential continuation of the drop lower for euro. Expect a potential push lower for euro USD. Okay. So we have that. Then let's have a look at GBP USD as well before I come into looking at silver. So GBP USD, this is what you have. Again, for GBP USD as well, you can see we've had a very nice drop, and this is now zone on the daily time frame. So the range we've been working with on the daily is from this demand all the way to these highs and back to this demand. So this was a breakout retest. So this is where we took ourselves from. So this is a breakout retest continuation with a drop lower. And our target was the areas of 1.33,500 and 1.33,000, of which both of them have already been hit. And you're still seeing price react from these area here. So I don't see how price reacts to this level. For start to see either if we will see a break below. All right, if we'll see a break below, chances are high you might actually get to see that because of the dollar strength that we are experiencing. However, we can only wait. We can only wait and see how price reacts to this level. And once now it does that, then we can be able to react after we have seen how price plays at this area of interest. Okay. So, but so far, this was a very nice. This was also a very nice drop. This is also a very nice drop. This is about like 200. This is a 200 pip drop from here all the way down to these. So it's about like, yeah, solid 200 pips. Okay. So that range was filled. I want now to see how price reacts at this level. If this demand holds, then expect a potential bullish push. However, from what I'm seeing, chances are high is that these demand can easily get taken out and price dropping all the way to these areas of 1.32 and 98. So let's say 1.32 200 areas down to this demand right here. Okay. So we have that. So let's observe and see how price gets to react to this. Then we have this is for the euro. Yeah, euro USD just expect more momentum to kick in and prices push lower. So we have USD CHF. There's USD CHF. So this on the one now, if you come to the 4 hour time frame, this is what you have. So for USD CHF, finally the range was filled, the target has been hit. So we have had a range from this supply all the way down to this demand. Then a rally to these highs. Then price drops back into this demand. That range was filled. Then a rally to these highs, slight retracement. Then a strong push all the way to this area of 0.78590, of which that range is filled. So then we saw a strong push to the downside, but price has come to react from this structure here. Price forms a minor structure at this level here. Okay. So price forms a minor structure within this area, and from here we are anticipating to see a potential bullish push to the upside, and price rallying back to these highs of 0.78590 and these areas of 0.791, 0.79120 areas. Okay, so we have that. Let's observe and see. We have that. Let's observe and see how price gets to. Let's observe and see how price gets to react to this. Okay. So we have this for USDCHF, a potential continuation of the rally higher. Then let's have a look at USDCAD and see what we have. USDCAD right there. So still pushing to the upside. So for this one, we've had a range on the daily, and this is how it looks like. So from these highs all the way down to these lows and back to those highs, the range is filled. Then from the highs again down to this area and back to these highs, that range is filled. Then a slight retracement, eventually price taps into 1.37 for 50 areas. Then what you're anticipating to see is a slight push to the downside. So I don't see probably something like that then. A strong bullish push back to these areas of 1.37 for 50 areas based off this. Okay. So we have that. So let's observe and see how price gets to react to this. Okay. On USDCAD, I'm still expecting to see probably either price reacting from here or from this area here, most probably from this area. So this is the discount. So I don't see price tap into this area, then you see a potential push to the upside. Okay. So we have that. So this is on USDCAD. Then let's have a look at NZD-USD. Uh-huh. NZD-USD has been a setup that we've been holding for quite a while now. And the target for this setup has already been hit. So this is a setup we had been holding from the 9th of February. Okay. It's a setup we had been holding from the 9th of Feb. The target was hit this week, so approximately about 4 weeks of holding this setup. So this is the setup we've had. So from our working range being from this demand, this was a previously broken supply, right? So price rallying all the way to this supply, then push to the downside, a retest, price pushes down, then retraces all the way back to supply. Now that is accumulation of orders. Then you see price push to the downside again to this area. A bit of consolidation, then eventually price breaks below and fills the full range down back to these areas of 0.58 for 100 areas. Okay. So now that you have that, we've seen price rally to this BOS. Here we have a break of structure. Here we have a break of structure. Okay. Here we have a break of structure based off that. Okay. So here you've had a break of structure. Then price taps into these. Then what you're looking out for is a bearish push back to these areas of 0.58 for 100. Okay. Bearish push back to these areas of 0.58 for 100. Then another probably push to the upside the moment price comes back to this. So currently we're still bearish. Anticipate to see price come to these areas of 0.58 for 100 before now potential either bullish reversal or probably price goes deeper into the zone into the areas of 0.58 thousand areas, which is now this area here, right here. Okay, so we have that. Let's observe and see how price gets to react to this. Then we have a look at yeah, that is an NZUSD. Let's have a look at euro. No, not euro, sorry. Oil. We have crude oil and Brent oil. Let me have oil right here. So this is crude. Let me have Brent right there. Okay. Now, the current geopolitical tensions that are happening between Israel and Iran and the US is affecting the major or the largest ports, the largest oil, the largest oil pipeline in the world, which is now the Strait of Hormuz. So once that is affected, definitely it will lead to global supply chain shocks. It will lead to global supply chain shocks for oil, and when that happens, the price of oil skyrocket. So this is what we are seeing currently. So we had the break above these areas here. So let me do this on the daily. So we had the break above these levels here. So this is what we have. Yeah, we had a break above this supply like that. We had a break above this, and now you're looking at prices coming to this next area of interest, these major supply, the areas of 85.68 and 87.5 based of this supply. Because again, we had the range from this supply, this was a key area, and now that price is broken above this because now this was the market gap on Monday. Okay. Yeah, this was the market gap on Monday. So I anticipate to see a potential, I anticipate to see a potential continuation of the rally higher and prices rallying to these areas of 85.68, let's say 86 to 87.50. All right. So we have that. Let's observe and see how price gets to react to this for UK oil. Then US oil, again, the same kind of scenario. These on the daily. So on the daily time frame, you can see price broke above this supply, right? Because now this supply was the major. We had the origin of that drop till there, then the range being filled all the way back to this. Then now we've broken above because this was the gap from here all the way to 75. We've broken above this. The next area of interest is the next supply, which is these areas of a 79.07 and 80.40. These areas here. So currently priced at 77.16. I anticipate to see a potential continuation of the rally higher, and prices going to these areas of 79 and even 80.40 areas based on the current structure that we are seeing. Okay. So we have that. Let's observe and see how price reacts to. Let's observe and see how price reacts to this. That is on US oil. Then let's have a look at gold and silver. So USD. Hmm. Let's have a look at gold and silver. Right here, I can see this on the daily time frame. Okay, and on the daily, this is what you have. So on the daily, we've had a range from this demand here, all the way to these highs of 5,500 and back to this demand that range was filled. Then a push to the mid-range, price from the mid-range here. Then eventually broke above the mid-range, formed higher highs, then retraced to retest this area, all right? And now what you're anticipating to see is a potential bullish push. Then the first area of interest definitely will be these highs. These are the highs of 5,400. Then the next area of interest is all the way to these areas of 5,600 based off these rejection wicks up here. Okay. Based off these rejection wicks up here, we are looking at price, a potential bullish push all the way to these areas of the first area is 5,400. The next area is 5,600 levels. Okay, so we have that. Let's observe and see how price gets to react to this. Then let's have a look at silver. For silver as well, I'm anticipating a potential bullish push, but let's observe. So this is what you have on silver. Okay, this is what you have on silver. So the working range is from this demand all the way to these highs of 120 and back to this demand that range was filled. A push to the upside, then price comes back to this range is filled. A push to the upside comes back to demand again, that is a minor range. Then now eventually you see price rally, break above this, go to these areas of 96, then his price is back to this level here. So at this area, I'd anticipate to see a potential bullish push back to the highs of 96. Okay. Back to the highs of 96. And when we break above, we see price rallying all the way to the areas of 103.67674. Okay. The areas of 103.67674 is the major target for this. So let's observe and see how price gets to react to this. And if you probably check out how now it looks on the 4 hour time frame, this is what you have on the 4 hour. You can see even the kind of rejections that price is forming at this level. So this is what we are having. So we have a breakout, price has come back to retest this area. Rejections, push up, price comes back down, then a push up again to fill the now because now price here forms a minor range from these highs back to this demand and from this demand all the way to these highs. That is how the minor range is formed and filled. So you're looking at a potential you're looking at a potential bullish push back to these highs of 95. Okay. You're looking at a potential bullish push back to these highs of 95 areas. Okay. So we have that. Then let's have a look at NAS and US 30. Uh-huh. So here is Nasdaq right there. Then here is US 30. So US 30 is right here, like that. Okay. So starting off with Nas, this is what you have on Nasdaq. So Nasdaq, you can see this was on the daily time frame. So we've been having price reacting from structures from this structure to these highs, and back to this structure. That range is filled. From structure again to the highs and back to this structure. That range is filled. Then from structure again, I don't see price come back to these highs. Then from these highs, when we will anticipate to see probably a potential bearish push back to the structure area at 24,400 areas. Okay, so we have that. Let's just observe and see how price gets to react to this. Then lastly, we have US 30. So this is what you have on US 30. This is a very solid break, and it's a very solid break on the 4 hour and the daily time frame. So has been from the range here has been from this demand all the way to these highs and back to this demand that range was filled. Then a push up to the mid range. This is the mid range, the middle of the range. Okay, this is the mid range based off that, based off this. This is the previous all-time high as well. And that is how it forms the mid range. Then a push to the downside, and now you have a break below. So what you're looking is what you're looking at is a retest of which the retest has happened. So what you're anticipating is a potential bearish push back to at least the first area being these lows. Okay, that should be the first area of interest being the lows of 4,000, the lows of 47,800 areas. Let's even 47,600 areas. Okay, so that's what you have. That's what you have this week. Okay, remember tomorrow is NFP, so anticipate quite a bit of volatility. Okay, anticipate quite a bit of volatility and momentum for this. Tomorrow is NFP, so there'll be quite a bit of momentum and volatility for this. So let's just wait and see how price gets to react to these pairs. But so far, so good. It has been it's been quite a good week. So let's trade cautiously. And yeah, let's trade cautiously and observe the volatility tomorrow for the NFP session. All right. So with that, guys, I'd like to wish you a very amazing rest of your week. Trade cautiously, stay blessed, and stay financially literate. And I'll catch you in the next one. All right. So cheers, guys, and I'll see you into the next one.